camera doesn't see it, so I gotta get closer.
All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cuddle Conversations. My name is Sheila Ryan. I'm a Cuddle ambassador in South Texas.
And I'm Ajaire Parello. I'm a Cuddle ambassador over here in Maryland.
So we're
excited to be with you today.
Yeah, we're happy to see y'all today. Today, we're going to be talking all about Luxe Cuddle. So we talk about cuddle, but there are different kinds of cuddle fabrics. And so we thought today we would just focus exclusively on Luxe Cuddle. So Ajaire, tell us a little bit about Luxe Cuddle. What is Luxe Cuddle?
Okay, so when we talk about Luxe versus other cuddles, we have C3, which is that 3mm pile, New Quilting Cuddle, that's the 1.5mm pile. And then anything that is 10mm and up, we consider Luxe Cuddle. And it's all the fabrics that have that longer pile, same knitted backing, like things are very similar to how we're going to handle it. It just ups the game a little bit with that longer nap. And let me tell you, there are a lot out there, and I can never keep track because they keep coming up with new ones. Big plug for watching the Cuddle Showcase that comes on Tuesdays. What is that? It's usually, today we're doing a Cuddle conversation and it's only the second Tuesday of the month. Right. Normally it would be Cuddle Showcase. And the plug for Cuddle Showcase is they will show you the new colors that come out of these cuddles, the different types of Luxe Cuddle they keep coming up with, which is fun. So yeah, we swapped with them. Normally we're the third week. They're the second, but next week, tune in to Cuddle, the Cuddle Showcase, because that's where you can find out what things might be leaving, what things are coming. Because Sheila, I don't know about you, but I have trouble keeping track sometimes. There are so many.
It's a lot. Like there's a lot of cuddle out there. So it is fun to see what is coming next because they keep surprising us with all of the new things. But before we talk all about Luxe Cuddle, we need to remind everybody that if you will like the video, if you will share it to your socials, you'll be entered to win a cuddle cake, which is a roll of 5 different Luxe Cuddles all bundled up that coordinate. And these are great kits. It's not really a kit. It's just 5 20-inch strips rolled up. You can do a lot with a cuddle cake. So you can make a strip quilt, you can make clothing, you can make a collection of pillows that all coordinate. Lots and lots of great options to do with a cuddle cake. So y'all share. Also, when we do these cuddle conversations, we generally, just so you know for next time, have a conversation starter. So if you have a question about what we're going to be talking about, we give you a heads up so that when you ask a question beforehand, you're also entered to win a cuddle cake. So there's lots of ways for you to get your hands on some Luxe Cuddle if you don't have any yet.
Yep, I see lots of people out there sharing, so that's great. Yeah, so those cuddle cakes, we have some patterns out there that you can find on the Shannon Fabrics website, all the free patterns. So you can go through those. Most of those can use the cuddle cake. It's a great way for some of the shops that don't have a ton of yardage to actually introduce you to a few different types of Luxe Cuddle, because it's just a pre-bundled thing that they can get for you. So we've been really excited to have those in shops.
Yeah, for sure. And I see a ton of friends from all over the place. I see friends from Colorado and Florida. So all of California. I know we've just got the whole North American continent covered right now. So it's really exciting to see everybody here. So Washington State. Yes. Yay, yay, yay. So we hope that you guys are staying warm wherever you're coming from. And let's see, Ajaire, let's go ahead and just start. Let's just jump in. We've got a lot to show everybody.
We do. So we're going to start at the lower end. So the 10mm cuddles, the 10mm Luxe Cuddles. And I like to show, so hide is one of the most popular of our fabrics, of any of the Shannon fabrics, but of Luxe Cuddle, hide is a 10mm pile. And this is my ring that has all the color samples on it. So this is just, for being an ambassador, or if you can have all of these different cuddles. And this doesn't include the ones they just announced on the previous Cuddle Showcase, where they just came out with, I don't even know, 10 more?
10 more, I think 3 of them are greens.
Yes, so beautiful greens. And I'm a green girl, so I was very excited about the new greens that are coming. But look at how many options there are for that. So I'm just going to focus in on one. So that is what we consider hide. Hide is 10 millimeters, like I said, and it's one of the embossed prints. So it's embossed in a certain pattern to make it look like, why did I focus on this ridiculous orange one, Sheila? That is like the worst one. What is
Don't you
going
have
on
another
with this
color?
thing? This one doesn't show up quite as well, but it's a beautiful color. But it basically is meant to look kind of like an animal hide, right? Where it's got, back and forth waviness around it. But that's one of our embossed. We have embossed, we have printed, we have just straight longer piles. So it gets very exciting when we start talking about Luxe. And any questions you guys have, we are kind of checking in the comments. So feel free to just ask us some questions. I do see one already that does cuddle stretch. So Sheila, do you want to answer that? Does cuddle stretch?
Yeah,
Including these Luxes.
that's a great question. So cuddle fabric, all cuddle fabric is knitted. So the way it's made, it's not a woven like your quilting cottons or flannel. It's knitted in the process of how it's created. And knitted fabrics are things like your jersey shirts or your stretchy athletic wear. Yeah, those are knitted fabrics. So they do all have some built-in stretch. Now, cuddle's stretch is a little bit different. So the different cuddle fabrics stretch differently, but cuddle in general is considered a stable knit, which means that if it stretches, it snaps back. Now, some cuddles are stretchier than others. Some of the there's a very stretchy new cuddle called marshmallow cuddle that is stretchy in two ways. So both down the bolt as well as edge to edge. And so that's got stretch on purpose, but regular cuddle, you can take advantage of the stretch so that you can make nice stuffed animals that kind of curve and you can take advantage of that stretch. Or you can make nice structured things by ironing on and interfacing to remove the stretch. So it does stretch, but it's not stretchy. How about that?
Yeah, it holds its shape really well. It doesn't just, stretch apart like that.
Oh, this is our trick question. We already got a stump the tump question right at the beginning.
I'm gonna let you take that one, Sheila. No,
no, not me, not me.
You guys saw that ring of hide is gigantic. We have a ton. Like I said, they just added a bunch more, so I don't even know what the total is right now. I know Julie did tell us the other night, but I can't even remember. In fact, I think I asked in our meeting, how many does that bring us to now? And I can't even recall what she said.
It's a lot, and it just keeps going up. So, because we had, regular C3 has 140 colors. Quilting Cuddle has 46 colors.
And counting. Quilting Cuddle keeps coming up with more.
Right. So many more. Let me see if I can find a number. And if not, maybe
while you're looking for that, Jana's asking, what temperature do you recommend for ironing interfacing? So if we're doing interfacing, I did a video last week or the week before, a couple weeks ago, where I was putting interfacing on the back of some Quilting Cuddle for backpacks, but I've done it on C3 hide. I've done it on pretty much all of the cuddles. And I am just using the SF101 regular woven interfacing. I generally use that in between setting. So it's not all the way down on wool. It's not all the way up on cotton linen. It's sort of in between. So it's like a medium setting. I don't really have a number to tell you, but what you want to do is you want to just keep an eye on it, or maybe take a scrap piece and try it on that, because every iron's a little bit different. This was using one of the really nice Oliso irons. But yeah, I would just say that medium sort of temperature.
Yep. And I'm looking at the page and I'm trying to count really fast because there's like so many on here that are coming soon. And I'm like, well, that messes up our count, right? We're supposed to know these things, but there's at least 70 colors of hide, and there are new colors coming. So if we've got Ginger McLeod, who is our education manager in the background. She's actually in California, so that's how we know we've got somebody in California here. So maybe she knows and she could find it and she could pop up a little thing. But yeah, Mirage. Ooh, that's a good question. So Mirage is an embossed texture, but I think it's also a print. So it's an embossed plus a print.
No, Mirage, I think, isn't Mirage the hide that's, say, 80 inches?
You're right.
You're thinking of one of the other ones, which we have plenty of those to talk about. But yeah, Mirage is a solid. It is just like hide. It's just our 80-inch wide. So it's wider than our normal 60-inch wide of hide. And it comes in many colors too. It doesn't come in as many colors as we do of hide, but it's getting up there too. I feel like they keep making more of those too, because we love that 80-inch for backing quilts. We use it for cuddle sheets. You can even make fitted sheets out of hide. So yeah, and the other thing when we're talking about colors, I love pointing this out because 1,700 SKUs in inventory.
That's why we can't keep up.
We put Ginger on the spot is what we did. There's so many. But okay, so she'll get back to us on the number of colors. But what I like to say about the colors is Shannon Fabrics does a really good job of matching colors. So if we have a color in hide and the color in C3 and they're named the same thing, they will match really well. If it doesn't match, they like send it back. So if it comes in and a new color that they're making, like Sheila just mentioned, they made a few new green colors in hide recently. If it doesn't match something that already exists in the Shannon Fabrics world, they'll name it something different. So they're really good about that. And that'll include even like going into some prints, into digital prints, into quilting cuddle. If the name mentions a specific color, it should match across the board, which is really, really nice.
That's true. And you can always find, you can go to the shannonfabrics.com website and look at the prints that you might have and see what colors are recommended matches. So if you're looking for a luxe to match the print that you've got for a C3 print or a quilting cuddle print and you need a luxe to go with it, you'll find the corresponding or coordinating colors just right there on the website. So it's a super great way to find some coordinates. The best way to find it is to go into your local quilt shop that carries cuddle fabric, touch it, feel it, look to see how they have their cuddle with the new quilting cuddle. Their cuddle may be in different places in the store than you're used to looking for. So ask for where the cuddle is, and then, touch and feel and see what you like, because even though we say these are suggested, you're always free to mix and match your own colors. So these are suggestions, they're not rules.
Yep. And we're going to be talking more about luxe, but real quickly, looks like Deidre was asking, what is the C3 pile versus the quilting cuddle pile? And C3 is 3 millimeter. That's why we call it C3. And quilting cuddle is 1.5 millimeter. So it's half the amount of pile that C3 is. Yeah. Okay. So Sheila, if we're talking about the 10 millimeter, like the 10 millimeter long luxe cuddles, what are some other options out there besides hide? I mean, obviously we've got hide in every color, so you can't go wrong there. What other things do we have at that like lower end of the pile length?
So there's hide, but there's also like frosted hide. So this is a Harper. He's not quite done yet. I've got some, I still got to stuff him. So this is a frosted hide. So it's got the tips. It's kind of like when you get your hair done and you get just the tips done. So the tips on this are white and the color is kind of in the background. That's a print. So it's the hide texture plus being printed on too. So that is the same 10 millimeter pile. There's also different textures of that 10 millimeter pile. Like there's a glacier, which is it's not as shiny as hide. It's a little bit more matte looking, but it's very, very silky. So it has a lot more texture built into the fluff. So if you're looking for the nap, that's a great fabric to use for those times where you're not real confident of finding the nap and being able to make sure your naps go all the way. Choose a fabric like a glacier, because as we say in a class, if you can't tell which way the nap is going, it doesn't matter. So if that's something that's difficult for you, that would be a great one to use. I love using glacier a lot just because it's so silky. It's very yummy. So do you have
I actually have the glacier. I just realized I have my header here of glacier.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I can show one of the bigger pieces. Wow. See those full lines that squiggle down? So that's embossed in there. And it's basically, you can't go wrong with finding the pile or the nap direction there.
Yeah, it's just really, really nice.
Tons of colors. There's lots of colors. I forgot I had this one sitting right in front of me. So
you can use any of the Luxe Cuddles in your projects. So, of course,
Yep.
we love making a Luxe throw. And so you can make a Luxe throw out of hide, you can make a Luxe throw out of glacier. And with the different textures, they'll have a totally different look just by switching the texture of the solid Luxe Cuddle fabric that you're using. So that there's this texture. There are
I just want to say really quick. So Glacier is actually 15 millimeter pile.
okay.
It's a little, that's the only difference, you know, it's an embossed, but it's 15. And Jana was asking, so if we say it's 10 millimeter or 15, is it the longest pile? And yes, so the longest on there is 15. So it's very similar to hide, which is 10, but it's just slightly longer in those longest parts. And she also, figured out what we know, and now all of you will know too, is when you do go to the shannonfabrics.com website, not only do you get some matching fabrics that they'll say with the prints, but on all the Luxes, it'll say right there what the weight is and what the pile length is. So you can find out right from the website what the lengths are, so you know what you're dealing with. So if you see it in a shop and you love it, and you get home and you're not quite sure what was that pile length again, you can always check the site.
That's true.
Oh, she just put it on I didn't see that the comment was on the camera. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt about that, but I did want to say because that was a 15 miller, so it's one notch above that 10 millimeters is the Glacier, which we love.
Yeah. Well, and it's really cool, like looking on the website. So knowing the weight of the fabric, like how heavy it is, that may determine what you're going to use it for. And we haven't even gotten into different categories of things to what we're going to sew. But like if you need a blanket, do you want your blanket to be a little bit heavier? Maybe you pick a heavier weight fabric. So you have almost the weighted fabric feel. Are you making a coat out of your Luxe Cuddle? And how heavy do you want it to be on your body? Or, you know, so those are great clues to find on the website. So Tisha asks, I really got an amazing deal on some Cuddle, and one was some powder puff. How long ago did that come out? That Cuddle is probably the softest I've ever felt yet. I love powder puff, and we're going to go ahead and jump into some of those longer piles because powder puff is one of the longer piles. It's a 20 millimeter pile. I've got some right here. I've made a powder puff tote. I call it a powder puff tote.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's an actual tote. That's not just a piece you're holding up there.
No, it's tote. I put a strap in it. I actually did it on my serger. It's, you know, got a little magnetic snap and cotton in the inside, and it's structured. But do you see the embossed and carved texture in it? It looks like a very fancy, like upholstered kind of look. So it's got these little puffs, kind of. It almost reminds me of those biscuit quilts or those puff quilts. You know, put together. It's a very elegant and sophisticated look for that pattern. And oh my goodness. Oh, I see Verna says she just got some powder puff too.
It's so nice.
Is a lovely fabric. And it comes in these soft colors, and then it comes in our standard like caviar and natural and those classic colors too. So this one's called Ballet Pink. It's a very soft pink.
And do you know when did it come out? Was it last summer? How long has Powder Puff been around? It's a relatively new one. It's tough for us because we hear about it and we might even get little weird runoffs or samples before it actually hits the shops. So I can never quite remember when something started because it's like when I didn't actually get to shop.
Okay, I know that I got this Powder Puff in around November of 2024.
Okay, so it's been longer than I thought.
So I sewed this up last year, probably in March of 2025. So, but I've seen it in stores already. So I know
it's definitely in stores. It's relatively new. That'll be the answer.
Yeah. I see Tisha always says she made with Powder Puff, and she put Oceana in it together. I love Oceana. You love Oceana too, don't you?
I've got my in fact, I think this might have been the bag I did live last year. So remember my little purse. There's nothing in it right now because I just washed it. But I mean, Oceana is just so pretty. See that texture there? It's like little waves. Did you have a piece of it too, Sheila?
I do. I have a piece of
this small piece isn't really showing the up and down waves. Oh gosh, look at that color. Oh, the color is so pretty.
It's like it's been carved. So the texture is actually cut in instead of heat embossed in. So it's the Oceana is just gorgeous. This is a super fun sleeve. I have a jacket that I made where I put
Ooh,
Oceana sleeves and a hood on, and that was super fun. But it's very, very look, I'm wearing my little scrap right now. That's how we do it. But it's a super fun texture, and it also is just beautiful. It's really
I love
beautiful.
it. That looks so pretty. I love that the two-tone colors there.
Tisha says her son was petting his blanket after he fell asleep, and he's about to
Oh,
turn
yeah.
20.
Yep.
Same.
We all do. I mean, when I have this, the reason I had to just wash it is because I sit here and pet this all day long. It's a crossbody bag, and I pet it while I'm in the line. I pet it all day, so I have to wash them all the time. That's the other thing is Luxe Cuddle does launder beautifully.
It really does. And it just, speaking of wandering, how do we take care of Luxe Cuddle, Ajaire?
Same as we take care of all of our cuddles. So no dryer sheets, no fabric softener. Dryer sheets because there's fabric softener in there. So no fabric softener. That's the number one thing to watch out for. We do cool wash, air dry, whether we fluff it in the dryer first and then let it air dry the rest of the way, or air dry it and then fluff it at the end. Heat is what we're trying to avoid here.
Yeah, we want to avoid as much heat as possible. And I've not ever melted Cuddle with an iron or with my dryer, but I did hear one of our ambassadors had her iron on, and she had friends sewing over, with her, and her iron was on the wool setting, like the super hot setting that you need for pressing cotton or wool or linen. You're trying to get linen. We don't have to press that hard with Cuddle because it's polyester, so it takes heat really easily. But she said she did could tell that it was starting to melt the Cuddle, and so they dropped the temperature down real quick. So it is possible. So just be careful. I don't have an iron that gets that hot, honestly, and so I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not had any problems washing. Tisha says she uses Dreft, works great. Oh, the other thing is if you do have hard water, like some places it's not your the actual minerals can want to stick to it a little bit. If you do have some buildup, just do a vinegar rinse. Because I'm petting this constantly, even just the oils from my hands were making this look a little bit muddied, So I just soaked it in some white vinegar and then washed it as normal, and it's back to being its super soft, fluffy self.
Oh, I love this. I love that Jackie Jeffrey just said that she loves making patchwork minkies out of different textures. And that's honestly that's kind of the idea of where our strip
Yes.
quilts have. So we've got strip quilt kits that
Mhm.
have different textures, as well as some C3 prints, some C3 solids in there. But the combination, when you combine different coordinating or contrasting, they don't have to match.
Right.
It's just those textures and those colors all together, you can do some really, really beautiful effects. And then I love Jackie Hillman. She's one of our Cuddle ambassadors,
Yep.
and she's an expert sewist. But she said she made a two-sided throw with pearl powder puff on both sides. And
Ooh.
OMG, pearl is one of our newer colors, and it's a very creamy. It's like white with a gray tint, so it's not beige. Beige is more brown. Pearl it's really what
In
you
some lights, it almost looks like a bluish, like a very tight, light little bit of blue, maybe. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Jackie, I'm so glad you have a pearl powder puff throw. That sounds amazing.
Sounds so
Really
nice.
amazing. So, okay, so back to our 10.
So I just want to say really quick, another 10 millimeter, because we moved on, Power Puff is more. Another 10 millimeter that is similar to Hyde is our Galaxy. And for that, we're talking about printing. This one has a backing. It's been almost tie-dyed. So you'll get these splotches where it's darker, lighter, and it really does look just like, like a Galaxy. And on the backing, you can see where the ink has taken, or the dye has taken. So it's a really, really cool fabric. Again, tons of colors in that. But that one's still just 10 millimeters high. So it's really easy to sew with. It's a great entry one, gorgeous on the backing of quilts. Anywhere where you can feature a lot of it, because you can kind of see the tie-dyeing effect. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Galaxy Mallard. Oh, that color is stunning. Galaxy Mallard.
that's a color that's going to be around for a very long time because it's so good.
Yeah.
The other thing too, like there are textured 10 millimeter Luxes. So there's one with hearts embossed into it.
Yes.
And there's one with stars embossed into it. And there's one with paw prints embossed into it. So
Yep.
no matter what kind of a texture person you are, there's a Luxe Cuddle embossed, design for you. So whether you're a dog mom or there's a snowflake one too. There's one with snowflakes. I'm looking through my I have a sample book of lots of different. So here's the one with the hearts on it.
Love
for
it.
Valentine's Day. So super, super cute. Can you see those hearts? That's a 10 millimeter pile with the hearts embossed into it.
It's beautiful.
Okay, do we want to go thicker?
Yeah, let's go to 15. So we already talked about Glacier. Believe it or not, 15 kind of runs the gamut. Like some of them you wouldn't think, you'd think, oh, this is so much longer than 15 millimeter. It feels so lush and elegant. One of them is, I mean, Sheila and I both love this one. You guys have heard about it plenty because we did an entire live about it, but Milan is 15 millimeters. Now Milan is special. And I know Sheila's got some Milan with her too. I'm sure. I don't think either of us go very far from Milan. But Milan has those pockets that are, there's strips of knitted thread, strips of elastic thread that are knitted into the process. So it stretches and that's what makes those little pockets there. But the actual pile itself is 15 millimeters. It is so soft and so luscious, but it is not super duper long. It's only the 15 millimeters. I mean, it's shocking. It feels just like a bunny or just like any of those ones that are a little bit longer. But or sorry, not bunny. What's the Arctic bunny or not Arctic rabbit? One of the ones that's a 20. Feels just like that, but it's only 15.
But it's the volume that elastic gives the whole thing makes it feel so much thicker and more lush.
It really does.
It makes it really easy. It's not as hard to sew as you might think. So
exactly.
Just with the elastic, it just bubbles up like that, and then it kind of hugs you back. Yeah, Arctic fox, Jackie.
Yes.
Fox. Yeah, for sure. So our most popular. We missed it. We totally missed it. Printed and embossed cuddle is the Snowy Owl. We totally love. So Snowy Owl this is Alloy Snowy Owl. It is the best-selling Snowy Owl Natural. I think is actually the #1 selling Snowy Owl. But this is just a gorgeous all-around print texture. 10 millimeter Luxe Cuddle. It goes with everything. I mean, this is just really amazing. So you got some Snowy Owl. You don't know what to make. You make a throw. You make a pillow. You make a gorgeous coat out of it.
I'm planning a coat right now with it actually, and I'm very excited. It's a great home deck like option too. Like it goes with everything. Like Sheila said, it's not super duper heavy, so it's you can use it for pretty much anything like that.
Yeah. And you can use this. So that was another question I saw in the group a while ago, but people ask, can you use it for upholstering? And you absolutely could use it. You've done some upholstery with Luxe Cuddle.
My kitchen stools, the whole back and bottom are all, let me think of what it even is. I think it's hide, and I can't remember what color it is now, but it's definitely a 10 millimeter pile. Super soft and luscious. And the best part is I made them so that they could be removable. So I did a bunch of Velcro and all sorts of crazy things to make them easily removable. And so zippers and stuff. And so I just throw them right in the wash. And again, the stuff launders beautifully. So if my 7-year-old gets food all over her stool, it just goes right in the wash. So
that is so awesome.
You don't slip right off it. People think you're just going to slip off these things, and you don't. Like they work out great.
That is so great. That's so great. I mean, it's such an easy to care for fabric. And somebody asked earlier about what else Cuddle is made out of. Cuddle's made out of 100% poly. So that's part of what makes it so easy to care for. It doesn't have acrylic in it. Acrylic plush fabrics are harder to care for. You got to go get them dry cleaned, or you got to get special treatment. Not Cuddle. Cuddle's really easy. You can take care of it at home. And I don't have time in my life for things that are hard to take care of. We don't dry clean. We just throw it in the wash and go. If we can't wash it, I can't have it.
And Stephanie is out there. She was asking about, she was making some cushion covers I think for her friend. I don't know if it was for her or for a friend, but she was asking, "Hey, should I interface these? What should I do with these?" And I said, "Yes, I've interfaced them so because you don't want them stretching on the pillow necessarily when you're talking about a cushion, something someone's going to sit on. It's going to have some wear on it. You don't want it to be stretching out at all. So yeah, I did use just the Pellon SF101 when I've done my cushions before. So you're just giving some stableness to all the sides and the top. And but yeah, she's saying the best part is that you can just take them off to wash them. Like that just she said
Yeah.
they worked out great. She ended up interfacing and she's going to get some pictures for the boat. And that's the thing with the boat, you want to be able to wash them, right? I mean, people, they're going to get dirty. So I love that you can have something that luscious and it just is super easy to launder.
I want to go on a boat with a cuddle. Like,
Me too.
I did see somebody, so one of the shops that carries Cuddle in North Texas actually posted a thing. They had done some Cuddle blankets for somebody that had a private jet. And so they were putting custom leather patches on them. So if you want to, we can embroider on Cuddle. And I saw that question in there. We can embroider on Cuddle, on Luxe Cuddle, on any of the thicker cuddles. But sometimes embroidery isn't exactly the right technique to do. So on these blankets for the private jet, they had made had gotten patches made that were made out of leather and then sewed them onto the Luxe throws that they were making. And it was just such a elegant and elevated treatment that really just took a basic blanket and just kicked it up about 24 notches so that it was something super special. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. Okay, we can't wait to see Stephanie's pictures. That just sounds
I know, I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, so 15 millimeter piles, 20 millimeter piles. In that 15 to 20 millimeter pile range, we've got some cuddles that aren't embossed at all. Like we've got Seal, we've got Encore, and then we've got these ones that are silky and soft like Seal. And you've got one right there. Is that Sydney?
Sydney. So this is Sydney. And Sydney has an embossing on it. It's just these like lines down. Otherwise, it's a solid color. You can see in the backing, there's no print or anything on there. It's only 15 millimeters, which to me is like shocking to me. I can't get over just how soft those 15 millimeter piles are. I mean, I can't get over how soft quilting Cuddle is with only 1.5 millimeters. So I don't know why this shocks me, but it does every time. It just, when I read that it's only 15, I can constantly surprised. But yeah, I did a quilt backing. I did a strip quilt for my youngest, and I put Sydney on the back, a beautiful yellow Sydney, because her favorite's yellow. And with the strip quilting, it was great because the straight lines horizontally made it look like I had quilted down and across. Like it made my strip quilt look like I had done a lot more. When you look at the back, it really stands up with those straight lines across horizontally. It looked really, really cool. And it's so soft. Oh, it's so soft.
Sydney's super silky. And Verna mentioned Vienna. Vienna is very similar to Sydney and its feel, but it has the lines are carved in a little bit close together. So it's same squishy, I'm squishy. The same squishy. Like we don't have squish
this real thing. All right, so I have a sampler here. This actually has some Vienna in it, so I'll get closer. But I did a really quick sampler that I can bring to classes just to kind of show a range. This is not even the entire range, but it's just a range of Luxe Cuddles. So I like to bring it around. So this here, it's really hard to see because it's the espresso color. It's like a blackish, brownish color, is Vienna. But you can't really see, there's lines in there, but it also, because the way that lines are smaller and then wider, it gives this look to it where there's almost multiple colors. Like it gives it this movement to it in a way. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I love Vienna. Is actually one of my absolute favorites. I have a coat made out of Vienna too.
Yeah, that video is actually saved on the Shannon Fabrics YouTube channel.
Yes, that was the cherry cola, the glazed cherry something.
Cuddle.
Last year.
Glazed Vienna, cherry cola.
Cherry cola. Yes.
In the right order. Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. Yeah. So we did that video live last year, made that coat. And then I made a separate coat for myself that is the espresso. So it's just espresso Vienna, and I wear that thing all winter, and it is gorgeous. It is so comfy, and I love that. I love that coat.
That's so fun. That's really cool. So what else? So making, let's talk about things that you make with those Luxe Cuddles. So we talked about blankets. We talked about coats. What else can you make with Luxe Cuddle? I made a tote.
Yep. So let's see. Someone just mentioned, oh, Audrey just said cherry cola was that kid's cape you made. And it was. I did.
Yeah.
I had the leftover cherry cola from the coat, and I made a cape for my daughter out of it. And that was really easy to do. It was a great fabric for that because you didn't even need any detailing on it because that Vienna, the lines in the Vienna are kind of its own detail. So yeah, coats, any kind of outerwear. I also use it. I use Luxe Cuddle often as like a feature, like a big dramatic collar in something. So maybe not the entire coat's made out of Luxe Cuddle. I mean, they are sometimes, but if you don't want to do the whole thing, you could do a mixture of like a wool coat with a really nice, beautiful collar. Obviously, we do blankets and pillows and all of those kind of things. Anything fun that you can think of, Sheila, that might be a little different that nobody's really thinking of? Like,
Well, I love a bag made out of Luxe Cuddle,
Mhm.
and it seems like why would you even do that? But we make bags out of thick fabrics like denim or canvas. And
Mhm.
so a bag made out of Luxe is really just so yummy. Like your little bag you made as your
Oh,
crossbody.
yeah. Yep.
But big
Mhm.
coat, a a duffel bag made out of Luxe Cuddle. So in a few weeks we're going to have all about duffel bags. So we're
Mhm.
all making bags, Quilting Cuddle, C3, and then Luxe Cuddle too. But look at this darling stuffy with Luxe Cuddle. Oh my gosh.
So stuffed animals with Cuddle are just the best, and they're super easy, but Luxe Cuddle just brings it up that extra element. There goes. But yeah, so I think Luxe for stuffed animals is just perfect. Someone else was just mentioning it too, and out in the comments. Plushies, yep, plushies are great in Luxe
I
Cuddle.
mean, little bitty ones to great big ones too.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
and if you want inspo, like what can Cuddle do, check out some of our past Sew Together Tuesdays where we've got lots of stuffies that we've sewn out of Lex Cuddle. So, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, a double Vienna tote bag for your mom.
that's gorgeous.
Stephanie, you've got like some people that are super lucky to
I
be.
know, in your life, yes.
Yeah, for sure. And then Kelly says she's made a zipper bag with scraps of Cuddle, and absolutely. So I'm a machine embroiderer, so scraps we use those for applique or tiny
Mhm.
bags or tiny stuffies. No scrap is safe when you have an embroidery machine, and so even little bitty bags, which are you know. Oh, notebook covers. Do you remember when we did the notebook covers
Yes.
out of Lux?
Mhm.
Because you see those in the stores now. Maybe we were a little ahead of the time, but Reen Wilcoxon has a
Yes.
from Embroidery Garden has a notebook cover pattern that you can use Lux Cuddle for. So then you have Lux Cuddle notebooks because who doesn't need a little soft and feely while they're taking notes in class? So, and also Jackie reminds us that on the I Love Cuddle Fabric Facebook page, tons of inspo in there because it's not just us as ambassadors sharing our projects and the crazy stuff we want to make, but the community of like 23,000 people are sharing their projects too. And so we are always inspired by what you make. So join our group. We love to interact with you. We love to not only offer support, but to cheer you on. If you're making cool things out of Cuddle, we'd love to know about it. So it's super fun to see what everybody makes out of there. Um, Somebody says they quilt but not make clothes. How is
Mhm.
that coat pattern and a bathrobe? So that was a question kind of going off the idea of making coats out of Cuddle or Lex Cuddle, bathrobes out of
Mhm.
Cuddle or Lex Cuddle, and there's a free robe pattern called the Cozy Cuddle Robe on the Shannon Fabrics Facebook page down at the bottom. Um, and I need to just say this, Shannon Fabrics doesn't sell the fabric to consumers, but we have lots of education in there. If you want to buy it, you got to go to your local quilt shop. But after you buy it and you still don't know what to do with it, come to the Shannon Fabrics page and then go down to the bottom and look at the free patterns. all kinds of patterns for all kinds of projects. So that
Go to
cozy,
the learning center. So if you go to the learning center, you'll find all those patterns out there.
yeah, that cozy cuddle robe is just super great. And it's a great way to use Luxe Cuddle. And then unlike a blanket, which you got to keep adjusting, a robe's going to stay on your body, right? It'll sit on your shoulders. You can tie it together. But a lot of coat patterns are very similar to robe patterns. In fact, a couple of years ago, that robe kind of trench was very similar to a robe. And so, depending a lot of the way a garment is worn, it depends on the fabric that you make it out of. So you can take a very simple pattern, use a very luxurious fabric, and then have something that is perfect for date night or going out, or it gives a very simple pattern. And I like to think about it, the fancier the fabric, the simpler the pattern needs to be. I don't know, is that how you pick your patterns?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Janet was asking, do you add extra seam allowance with Luxe to account for the bulk in the seams? And part of that is also picking the right patterns. So, like Sheila's saying, if I'm using Vienna that's got those gorgeous lines that go down, it's got its own thing going on. I don't want a pattern that then is going to have 8 pockets that go over it and cover up that pattern, or a bunch of darts that go in and out and change the way those stripes are going. So you're going to find a pattern that suits the fabric you're looking at. And with with the seam allowance thing, we typically use a 1/2 inch seam allowance for cuddle. And part of that is just dealing with the bulk of the cuddle. But I've sewn plenty of clothing with 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, and it all works out. I mean, that bulk doesn't end up taking up too much space in there. You could always trim if you wanted to after. And I find, Sheila and I are both obsessed with serging these days. And if you're serging with the cuddle, it makes a nice compact seam. So even the thickest is getting nice little getting compacted in there. So I find you want to stick to whatever the seam allowance is in the pattern you're using. You don't want to just adjust that necessarily. But 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch is great. And that's in most of those patterns.
Yeah. I love this question. And Ajaire, you can talk to this a little bit. Kathy says that she's never tried making a robe or a coat. Is using Cuddle, and we'll say Luxe Cuddle, beginner friendly? What do you think?
So I think it depends on your situation. So have you sewn with Cuddle before? So that's a question. If you've sewn with Cuddle before, then I think yes, jumping into something like a coat would be no problem. If you haven't sewn Cuddle before and you haven't sewn a coat before, then you would want to check out some of the videos we have out on YouTube that talk about best practices for what your machine settings should be and how you cut it. And just, we've got tons of videos out there with the basics. So I would check that out first. But let's assume that you are familiar with Cuddle and you want to jump into making a robe or making a coat, something like that. The key is that you're just following a pattern the same as you would anything. And if you're following the steps that they're giving you, you will end up having pretty good success. The Cuddle is forgiving. It's so much more forgiving than people think it is. They worry about the stretch and think that that's going to ruin things for them. I feel like the stretch actually is better because you can kind of make things do what you want them to do with that stretch involved. So the same as we would do with the blanket, we just pin a bunch, get that fabric where we want it to be. We do have videos out there. Again, that video when I made that one coat is out there as well. And those videos can be useful for, even if it's not the exact pattern you're using, it still gives you tips for how to do those type of things. So I think watching a few videos before you tackle something is the best way to go.
It is. And I let me add too that even if you haven't made a garment out of Cuddle yet, using Luxe Cuddle is probably easier than using regular Cuddle because the built-in fluff. So we talk about the length of the pile. That is going to hide all kinds of things. If you're not a super straight seam sewer yet, or you haven't quite dialed in your settings on your sewing machine and you don't, if your seam allowance wobbles a little bit, nobody is going to know once you get that Cuddle garment sewn together. So start with something that's more unstructured, or like a hoodie or a loose fitting coat. The cozy Cuddle robe is the perfect probably beginner project because it's really just squares and rectangles. And
Mhm.
the only pattern pieces on there are actually a template that you would use to trim out the shaped areas, but everything else is squares and rectangles. So that makes it a lot simpler to construct. So you're not
Mhm.
having to deal with curves or with collars, things like that. So choose a simple pattern. The fewer pattern pieces, the better. But yeah, they would be. They're going to hide any mistakes that you think you might be making. Yeah,
Mhm. Sure.
I love how y'all are cheering her on.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yes, yes, do it. All the seams are pretty hidden. Yeah,
Mhm.
and if you see a seam, this is what's fun about Luxe Cuddle. Let me grab my little elephant here. So we've got Harper the elephant, and then after you make Harper the elephant, then you can make your own because the pattern's in there. You can see how you can see the seams here. So this is placed with the seams cross. But if your seams aren't perfect, okay, and this is where the magic happens with Cuddle, you fluff the fibers out from the seam where they got caught in between the seams. You fluff them out, and then you can't see that at all. And so look at the difference. It Stephanie, this is a very satisfying activity. It's actually a very good activity for people that like to pick at things.
Yes.
Fluffing the seams not only tickles the brain just right, but it
Mhm.
also like hides any of your mistakes. So
Yeah.
fluff away. Yes, it is
Mhm.
a good activity. Keeps you out of trouble. So yeah, I think the robe pattern also there's a good pattern. I mean, we're not sewing today. I wish we were, but now I'm like, oh, I need to make this. Patterns for Pirates has a vest
Yeah.
that is also really great. So as we go into spring,
Mhm.
we don't necessarily need sleeves anymore, but we still might be a little chilly. So a sleeveless vest is a great pattern to
Yeah.
use because then you don't even have sleeves to deal with, or just a shrug, something with just sleeves. And uh, you know we could go on and on about what you could make with Cuddle. But so what about those thicker cuddles though, or some of the other more textured cuddles? What do you think as you
I've done, I actually did the Love Notions acorn vest out of llama years ago, and llama is a longer pile. This is a dress, actually. This is not the vest. This is a dress that I did for my youngest. So it's just got like a knit top that was snug and then let the skirt just billow out. So it's just a big circle skirt. But that longer pile is just so much fun. It's got so much movement in it. Well, she spins in this too, so that helps. But in terms of sewing it, it's just like the rest. It's so easy. It's strict, it still has the same stretch. Um, I mean, just and the best part is that I didn't even hem this because when I cut it out, I just made sure that I didn't cut that pile off. So the pile just hangs over the edge and it's just beautiful. So I mean, it was super easy. I made it even easier.
That is a super boutique look. I mean, it's really fancy, but it's really
Mhm.
easy, and that's another reason why I love using Cuddle fabrics because
Yes.
you can get something really dramatic. But yeah, that one is
Speaking of dramatic, we've got the Dreamy.
now Dreamy for tell us about Dreamy because it's a little bit different than
Yeah.
regular
So
Lux Cuddle.
Dreamy is not um it's Lux Cuddle, but it's not exactly the same thing. It sort of replaced our faux furs, but it is still 100% polyester. It is so soft, but it is very long pile. What did
But
we
it's
say?
very lightweight.
It's
I mean,
very
the
light.
fabric
It's
is
not heavy like a faux fur used to be. It
yeah.
is just dreamy is the name, but I mean, really, it is just so dreamy. So, what is the pile length of this? Is this 40?
Yeah, Dreamy's a 40
It's
millimeter.
40 millimeter pile. It sews up, for me, it sews up just like the others. It doesn't have as much stretch necessarily widthwise as some of the other ones do. It's a little bit more stable, so it works great for home decor. Um, really, really nice for pillows. But I've used it in garments and it works. It's just sews up beautifully.
It really does. And Dreamy is also really great for stuffed animals. So think of like the
Yes.
bunnies, it's coming up on Easter. So like
Mhm.
the raindrop ragdoll.
Yep.
Drop, did I get it
Yeah,
right?
raindrop ragdoll. Yep.
Super
Like this
fluffy ears.
raindrop ragdoll would
And
be so cute in the bunny. I
mhm,
mean, in Dreamy. Sorry,
yeah.
and not
And
scratchy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, the backing is still relatively soft, which is nice. Yeah, the faux fur is the backings was, they were always a little bit scratchier. These are nice.
Yeah, I've
Um,
got oodles of different cuddles here, and I don't have any that the backing is not wearable.
nope,
And
it's
that's what
nice.
it's cuddle. If it wasn't
Mhm.
cuddle, we wouldn't have it. I
Yep.
wouldn't do it if it's not cuddle. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, thank y'all so much for sharing. So these we talked about the length of the pile. We didn't mention the density. We kind of touched on it some, but some of the shorter Luxe Cuddles and the longer Luxe Cuddles have different densities in the amount of fibers that are in the fabric. So you just showed Dreamy, which is a very lightweight.
Mhm.
But there are other cuddles that are thicker. So like the Vienna is a very thick,
Mhm.
dense.
Dense.
Um, it's not thick as in the fabric's thick,
No, it's
but it's
dense, like it's close
lots
together. The
of
fibers
fibers
are close
in there.
together.
Yeah, lots of fibers in there. So this is one of those times where today, maybe after live, you just got to go to a quilt shop and you got to go
Mhm.
touch and feel because we are doing this right here. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, we're all petting the whole time.
But we want everybody to be doing it too. So go.
Stephanie just Stephanie just mentioned that when she sewed with Dreamy, she used a closed foot when sewing, so it didn't catch those fibers. That's a great tip. I typically use my stiletto to make sure that those fibers are going underneath and not getting caught by the foot, but a closed foot is a good tip for that too. As long as you're using your walking foot, some of those walking foot feet have the interchangeable feet where you can do it closed or open. So yeah, that's a good tip.
That's a good tip. And with those longer pile fabrics, we're not going full speed ahead. So we're slowing down a little bit because we've got fluff. We've got to pay attention to things a little bit differently. So
Yes.
slowing down, not pedal to the metal. If you need to, you can slow your machine down manually so that you can't go that fast. But tucking the fibers back in with your stiletto. We keep talking about the stiletto, but it's really a helpful tool.
Yes.
Just tuck those fibers back down in between the seams so that they're, not going to get caught. But taking care and watching what you're doing when you're sewing with Luxe Cuddles really is that's a good tip. We should all be taking care anyway, but sometimes we get careless and go too fast. But I like that Stephanie says she even puts a piece of tape over the open toe, and that works great.
Yeah.
You know,
So if you don't have a closed toe, you can just do that. Mhm.
kind of like a snowplow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good
You
analogy.
want to push everything down under it. You don't want it coming up over.
Yep. I wanted
Mhm.
to show a couple more just textures and prints before we go. So
Yeah.
let's see. This is one of my favorites, and I'm
Oh,
hoarding
yeah.
this, but I'm so excited that we're getting more colors. This is called
When they announced that, I was thrilled when they were announcing more colors
so
of wheat.
check out the texture in this. So I'm actually holding it upside down, so I'm petting it
Yeah, the
right.
wrong way. That's
Yeah.
okay.
The weave is super cool because it looks like a sweater knit.
Mhm.
Okay, but it's super stable. So
Yes.
if I'm making something out of this, I'm not struggling against the fabric. So it's just easy to sew. I use this for bindings a lot on my
Mhm.
quilts because I love this stripy look, right? Or again, I love texture. So sleeves, I made
Yeah.
a cool pillow one time where I had these lines kind of hitting each other at perpendiculars. And so that's super fun. There's just lots of things you can
It
do.
looks great for like robe cuffs, like if you're doing a cuff on a robe. Like you
And
said, the binding
chenilles.
is perfect for
Yeah.
binding.
Tisha says it looks like chenille. It does. It looks a
Yes.
lot like a chenille. And it's a print. So it's a texture plus print. So
Mhm.
it's got those texture lines carved into it, but you can see from the back that it's printed with a couple of different, kind of creamy and brown. And there's a lot of colors of weave coming out
Mhm.
that are new. But another favorite are these tie-dye. So this is Mystic. The color way of this one is called Mystic. It's very similar to Mermaid. Mermaid's a little bit
Mm.
more pastel. The Mystic is dark, but I wanted to show you how they're printed. You can really see the pattern of the print on the back side.
Mhm.
This really cool. I am not far enough away for you to see, but it's like
I know it's hard to see. Yeah.
so that's the back, and then the front is the texture
Mhm.
plus the print. So it's like this is like a blue lagoon to me.
And which one is that? Like you said, the
This
colorway
is
was
Luxe Cuddle Sorbet.
sorbet.
and the
Yes.
color is Mystic. So there's sorbets that are more pastel. There's sorbets that are pretty wild and very contrasty. Like there's a new one that's like green and dark green and like a lime yellow. It's very
Yes.
cool. So
Mhm.
lots of those sorbet textures. And those are really great for, I mean, I'm going to say kids, but not just little kids, but like college kids, because they're fun, but they're a little bit more sophisticated
Yeah.
than just, plain fabric. So
Mhm.
college kids love, I'm going to speak for college kids because I have three. Um, college kids love the sorbets.
They do. Someone was just asking how I think it was Jana was asking how we do binding. Binding, we have lots of videos out there on that, but basically we sew it on one side, flip it over, and we do not turn under that extra edge. Cuddle does not fray. We leave that raw edge, and it actually is nice because like Sheila was showing earlier, you can fluff those stitches up and then you don't even see your stitches on the binding, and it just is super soft and cuddly edging for your quilts. But yeah, we don't turn under, do the double fold or anything. We're just stitching it one side, flipping it to one side, to the other side, and stitching it down.
Yeah, we've got some really great videos in they're called Cuddle Studio videos over on YouTube, and you can find that playlist linked on the Shannon Fabrics page. And then we've got some videos that are like whole quilts where we walk through the whole process and then have the cuddle bindings. There's a really great video that Teresa did a couple of years ago, and she walked through several different ways to do a cuddle binding. So go find those videos on binding. But yeah, binding your quilts or your blankets with cuddle is really magical because it's not hard work at all.
It's
Really,
so
really
easy.
yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube, you go to Shannon Fabrics YouTube page and then search right there. If you just put in binding, you'll come up with a ton of awesome videos right from Shannon's YouTube page.
We could talk about this for hours, but both of us have got to go sew, right?
Exactly.
So
It's so hard to keep these shows to just an hour because we just want to go on, especially when we're in a topic like Luxe, which we could go forever on with all the
we really
SKUs.
could. But y'all want to win something, right? So
Yes.
let's see if we have some winners today.
Winners. Okay, we got Cindy Shelley, Jackie Jeffrey, Dear Lamp.
All right.
Yes, Dear Lamp. All you'll do is you'll email us at info@shannonfabrics.com. You want to do your name, shipping info, phone number, and the subject line live winner. So get us that information and we will get you a cuddle cake, which is very exciting. You'll have plenty of Luxe Cuddle in your hands to play with.
Yes. And then join the I Love Cuddle Fabrics Facebook group.
Mhm.
We want to see what you make. We want to answer your questions over there. Usually there are ambassadors that are on the I Love Cuddle group 24/7. So it's a place for you to get your questions answered super fast.
Yeah.
And also check with your local quilt shop to see if they're having a cuddle class. So we've got classes all over the country coming up. And so we post those in the I Love Cuddle group. We have them listed on the Shannon Fabrics page, but ask at your local quilt shop. See if you've got any cuddle classes or cuddle clubs coming. And then go follow. There's a large quilt show or sewing and quilt show called Original Sewing and Quilting Expo, OSQE. And we're going to be at some of those shows teaching classes. So if you've got an OSQE coming up, go check the cuddle classes that are going to be offered there, because Ajaire and I are going to Atlanta pretty quick.
Yeah, it's coming up in March. So sign up for our classes. We're teaching together. How fun is that going to be?
It's going to be super
fun. If you want to take a class from us, we'll be in Atlanta early March and we're doing a bunch of classes. And then teaming each other, so it'll be fun.
Lakeland, Florida, and then there's also cuddle classes happening in Ohio. So y'all sign up for those classes, and those OSQE events I hear are very, very fun. So
yes. And we've even got a Milan one. So if you want Milan,
I see. And Deidre reminded me. So she wants an L890 virtual class. We'll have to work on that. But there are L890 Bernina cuddle classes. They're called Cuddle Up with Bernina, happening all the time too. So we do this on Tuesday because on the weekends, on Friday, Saturday, we're out teaching. Yeah. So we love to sew with you. We love to get our hands on the fabric with you and help you as you're learning how to do it. Once you come to a class, you'll have gotten it, and you'll be, you don't have to come to a class, but we'd love to sew with you. So look for
So,
those.
yeah, I was just in Pennsylvania this past weekend. She said I should come to Pennsylvania. I was in Pennsylvania this weekend, and I'm coming up. I've got 2 more classes in Pennsylvania coming up soon. I'm just down here in Maryland, so happy to come to Pennsylvania anytime.
Yeah.
So,
Deirdre, we'll try to get one around where you are, North Carolina. So
yeah, I've been in North Carolina this year too. I've been there twice, so
I
we get
think
all over the place.
we've
Yeah.
got 50 of those Surger classes lined up already this year. So
Mm.
it's crazy sauce.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ajaire?
No,
Next
I'm just
next
excited to see everybody
product
out here in the
review?
shops, and any further Luxe Cuddle questions, feel free to hop over to the I Love Cuddle Facebook group. There's always us ambassadors out there happy to answer your questions.
Yep. All right. That sounds great. Well, thank y'all for joining us. It's, as always, it's super fun to talk about cuddle with you, and we're just glad that you hung out with us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will see you soon. Happy sewing.
Going.